Well, hello everybody. It's time for the groaner of the week and the shoutouts. So are you ready? Let's get to the shoutouts first. This week our shoutouts are for 4 really nice channels. The first one is That's Lucy, and just the way it sounds, That's Lucy. She does magnet fishing Fridays quite often at 5 o'clock. She does a live feed and has a quiz and does shoutouts. Excuse me. I'm sorry. But wonderful show. She does it with her Aunt Wendy. They're from England, from Nottinghamshire. But I encourage you to check out That's Wendy. The next one on our list is all capitalized ATJH. Nope, I got it wrong. Start over again. Ignore what I just said. ATJH. That's all capitalized, capital A, capital T, capital J, capital H, then a space, Travels. It's a family that does travel shows. Last time I saw them was this morning, and they were chilling out at the pool at their Comfort Inn. So check them out, ATJH Travels. The next one is Colorful Hands Toy Show. Now, for my friends in Canada and England and Australia and New Zealand and wherever you might be that uses the Queen's English rather than American English, nothing wrong with either one. That's colorful spelled the American way, no U. So COLORFUL, Colorful Hands Toy Show. And it's just a fun family show with kids, and they check out different toys and have a good time together. Yeah, check it out. You'll enjoy it. Colorful Hands Toy Show. And last but definitely not least, somebody I enjoy watching every morning and sometimes in the evening as well, if she's on, is Kelley. That's Kelley, Kelley Paulson, Paulson. They're usually fairly short, but just wonderful, inspirational videos with beautiful photography. Kelley does a lot of photography and some inspirational sayings, but she also does some live feeds and chit chats and videos of other things as well. So be sure and check her out. That's Kelley with an extra E, so Kelley Paulson. So those are the 4 channels for the day. Alrighty. I know you've been waiting for this all week. Some of you probably haven't been able to sleep. You've been so anxious to hear what the joke or the groaner of the week is going to be on this channel. So here we go. I'll put you at ease, and tonight you can sleep well. Quite a few years back, a very genteel elderly Christian lady who was living in an apartment decided, after her husband had died a few years before, that she was really lonely and she wanted to get a pet. So she checked with her landlord, and he said the only thing she could have would be a bird or fish. Well, she thought, well, you can't really interact that much with fish. They're pretty to look at and calming to watch, but no, she decided if she was going to do anything, it would be a bird. So then she had to think about that. What kind of bird would she want? She decided she didn't want anything really noisy that was going to be chirping and cheeping all day long. She thought, it'd be neat to have a bird that could talk. So she did some research and discovered, well, there's mynah birds and certain parrots and things like that could talk. So she decided, looking at them, that the parrot was the way to go because it was colorful and she had lots of room for a cage, and so that's what she was going to do. So she marched herself off to the local pet shop, and she had a look around. Well, before she even found a bird, she picked out a big, huge, wonderful cage, just very ornate and lots of room for a bird. She bought all the extra stuff, the seeds, the drinking fountain, the cuttlefish peck thing, you name it, she bought it. And so the pet owner said to her, well, what kind of bird do you have? And she said, well, I don't have a bird yet. He goes, oh. Well, all my birds are at the back of the shop if you want to go look around and see what you can find. But he says, with the cage you bought, you don't want to get anything really small because they could get through the bars, so you need a larger bird. And she said, well, I'm planning on a parrot. And he goes, oh. Well, I only have one parrot in the store, and I really wouldn't want to sell him to you. And she goes, oh, is he your personal pet? And he says, oh, no, no, ma'am. He says, but he says, I recognize you from church. He says, I know you. He says, you're a very, very, very godly, caring woman, and this parrot just would not be suitable for you. She says, well, let me see it. Well, okay. So he takes her to the back of the store, and back in a corner by the door to the office, there's a cage, and here's this parrot. And he says, well, this is a parrot. His name's Jack. Jack, say hello to the lady. Well, out of this parrot's mouth comes just a string of the filthiest language you've ever heard. I mean, there was probably some words in there you haven't heard, but take my word for it, they were not polite. They were not nice. And the poor lady just turned red with embarrassment, as did the shop owner. Oh, I'm so sorry you had to hear that. I'm so sorry. He said, but see, I told you this bird would not be suitable for you. And the elderly lady says, I'll take it. The shop owner, what? No. I couldn't sell you this bird, ma'am. You don't want this in your house, and you have company over, and he's spewing out this filth. No, I couldn't sell it to you. And she goes, no, I'll take it. And she looks at the bird and says, Jack, what do you think about coming home with me? And out of this parrot's mouth comes another string of cussing and swearing and filthy language. But then at the end he says, okay. And she says, it's a deal. I'll take it. The shop owner goes, oh, are you sure? He says, I don't know. I don't think you really want this bird in your home. What if the pastor comes by to visit? What would he think? And she goes, son, I'm 82 years old. I have very strong faith, and I believe that with love, guidance, and Christian caring, anybody or anything can be reformed. She says, you just leave this bird with me, and I'll have it reformed in no time. And the shop owner goes, are you sure? She goes, yes. He says, well, I'll tell you what. He says, if you change your mind, you bring it back, and I'll give you your money back. So with that being said, the lady pays for the bird and arranges for everything to be delivered. So the next morning, a couple of men show up, and they set the cage up for him, put everything in place, and then a little while later, the shop owner shows up with Jack, the parrot. He says, okay, you sure you want this bird? And she goes, oh, yes, no problem. I want this. I want Jack. He'll be a good companion. We can chit-chat in the evening. She says, what do you think about that, Jack? And Jack opens his beak, and again, another stream of filthy language comes out, and cussing and swearing. And the shop owner he says, well, I can't say I won't be glad to have him out of my shop. He says, it's been so embarrassing, but he says, I just don't feel right selling him to you. She goes, you relax. I will take care of it. Okay, if you're sure. So he leaves the bird with her. He puts Jack into the big cage, and Jack goes and checks everything out. The shop owner leaves. A few minutes after the shop owner leaves, the lady goes over to the cage and says, well, Jack, welcome to your new home. And out of the parrot's mouth comes another string of filth and cussing and swearing. And before the parrot knows what's happening, the lady whips open the door to the cage, reaches in, grabs the parrot around the neck, hauls him out, and holds him with his beak about an inch from her nose. And she says, now you listen here, you rotten little bird. I will not have that kind of language in my mouth. If I hear you cussing and swearing again in my house, you will pay the consequences. Do you understand? And the bird just, his eyes are open and looking at her, and she shakes him and she says, do you understand? Yes. So she puts him back in the cage and closes the door. Well, all goes well for almost a week. This bird just seems to manage to, every time he's going to open his mouth and say something foul, he manages to change it to good morning, or how are you today, or beautiful weather, or something else comes out, but no cussing or swearing. And he just seems to be doing really well. But then Saturday morning, just after the lady has gotten up and she's getting ready to feed the bird, he hops over to a seed tray and sees it's empty. And before he thinks what he's doing, out of his mouth just comes a stream of cussing and swearing and filthy language. And it was probably in more than one language, but just not nice. The lady storms over to the cage. She whips open the door, reaches in, grabs the parrot, stomps into the kitchen, opens the door of her freezer on the top of her fridge. She shoves the parrot in and she says, "Just for that, here's your punishment, 5 minutes in the freezer," and she slams the door. Well, the poor parrot is just freezing to death. I mean, he's a tropical bird. He's not used to this kind of ice cold. Well, he's just in there, he's shivering and he's cold and goes, "Oh, what have I done?" Well, 5 minutes goes by and this poor bird's feeling like he's just not going to make it. And the door opens, the lady reaches in, grabs the parrot, closes the freezer door, holds the parrot about an inch from her nose, and she says, "Now, have you learned your lesson?" "Yes." "Now, if I hear you cuss and swear again, next time it'll be 10 minutes in the freezer. This time it was only 5. Do you understand?" "Yes." "Do you have any questions?" "Yes." "Well, what?" "What did the chicken do?" Oh, that was so bad. Alrighty, you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Hopefully you'll have some sunshine, but not high heat. And you'll be able to get out and do whatever it is that tickles your fancy. Just be careful when you buy a parrot that it didn't belong to a sailor or a dock worker or some other cusser before you buy it. But remember, with Christian love and caring, even a parrot can be reformed. God bless everyone. Take care. Bye.